till I suffocate, very quick to agitate, concentrate till I rate, I'm irate, in a state, my confidence is a trait, success is my motherfucking fate.
One of the most common questions thrown around by humankind is discerning the reasons for our existence, or the meaning of life. Such an important topic that we have concepts like religion, and even deeper than that, philosophy. The greatest thinkers of our species like Aristotle and Socrates, and even more modern philosophers like Nietzsche and Emerson, all tackle the complex question of a topic as simple as how one should live their life. Viktor Frankl, the author of Man's Search for Meaning, said that the meaning of life is to give life meaning. But then the next question one would pose is, how does one give life meaning? In my opinion, anything we do can hold meaning. Even not doing something to some sort of capacity can have meaning if you're creative enough about it. All significance derives from how the action is perceived. Does that imply that achieving something is easy? Potentially, maybe. But achieving something great, high on a supposed meaningless scale, isn't. In order to do that, one must be ambitious and raise their purpose and their goals above the ordinary into something they deem to be grandiose or difficult. Viewing life in this manner can raise the bar and what we perceive to be possible, and provide the stepping stone to accomplish anything. Lelouch v. Britannia from Geass is this type of person, and more relatable than we might think at face value. He seeks to change the world alone atop an army. In this video, we'll look into the mindset that he has and what helped him in changing the world. In the beginning of Geass, Lelouch is a zombie, and the reason why is that he is bored of the monotonous life that he's living. Living on autopilot and not really doing anything meaningful with his life. I'm sure many of you can relate to this level of consciousness, because I know that I can. There have been countless periods in my life where I didn't feel present in the moment, and I felt as though I was repeating the same behaviours constantly, day to day, like a robot. It felt as though I didn't have any meaning or purpose to what I was doing in the moment. It might be working the same job, engaging in the same comforts and escapisms, or even spending time with the same people doing the same things. Due to lockdown and quarantine, I'm pretty sure that most of you guys have experienced this at some point. I know that I have to. When Lelouch receives his Geass, he would actually rather die than go back to this sort of pointless existence. And this is where his goal is set into motion, and we see his ambition on full display. What can we learn from him and how he behaves? Let's start with the first and most important thing. He has a goal that is bigger than himself. It's not purely selfish, despite being something that he actively wants to do. In the beginning, Lelouch wants to change the world for the sake of his younger sister, and then eventually the entire world. This provided him with the motivation to keep going and not become egocentric and selfish. When we look at Light Yagami from Death Note, he is exemplary of someone that is ambitious, but doing so for selfish reasons and becoming an egomaniac. We can see this in the real world when people thirst for money and attention for the sake of buying things and living a lavish life, and then becoming so self-absorbed and having no time for the people who were there with them in the first place when they began the hustle. By having a goal greater than yourself, you can remain humble, focused, and even more motivated to achieve what you seek to with your life. Not only will you accomplish what you want, but you'll become a better person too. The next major factor is sacrifice, the willingness to give things up. Generally, the law of equivalent exchange states that to give something of equal value must be given in return. This typically means that the weight of success is proportional to the amount of work put in all the time. To change the world and create a new one, Lelouch needed to cast away his old life and even his conscience. For us, it might be skipping eating junk food, waking up earlier, or even making a more conscious effort to be kinder to those around us, or just being more patient. By making these sacrifices, we can make more room for ambition and prospects to grow and yield fruit. Branching off the notion of actually growing your ambition, you need to see yourself as the leader. Not necessarily of other people or even a company or anything like that, but you need to be able to lead yourself and make the decisions that are right for you. And not just because it's the safe option, or it's what your friends or your family are doing, or society is doing. Lelouch takes leadership to a grand scale, as he knows he's the only one capable of doing what he needs to. So he leads others along the way that have the same vision as him, or at the very least the same ideology. That's why he created the Black Knights. For us, our dreams and our ambitions are bound by what we perceive to be as possible. If we're following others all the time, we'll actually put hope in their hands and taking the power away from ourselves. All in all, what we aim for needs to at least feel like it's ours and we're doing it because we want to. Lelouch v. Britannia is a shining example of a character with relentless ambition, which was necessary to achieve the lofty goal that he had. His ultimate desire was to make life better for others, but he was aware of the sacrifices and knew that he had to lead in order to stay on the straight and narrow path that he wanted to, and achieve what he set out in the beginning. Hopefully this video inspired you to think a bit bigger about your life and maybe inspired you to set some new goals or stretch out of your comfort zone a little bit. By gaining a few key ideas from Lelouch, and he went about changing the world with his relentless ambition, and you can do the same and become ambitious to achieve anything. I've been Sir Lance, and have a great day.
Season and I'm out for the kill. Adrenaline pumping through my veins, now I'm feeling the thrill. Call me Itachi, you won't see me. Tsukuyomi. Undeniable.